Forgive me if I sound very ugh right now, because I feel ugh and I feel fat as fuck right now. Because I've been eating like really too much. Anyway, not the point. We just went through qualifying, which I feel people are gonna have like a little I don't know, issue with. Not like the qualifying itself, but the fact that they didn't have practice before qualifying is questionable. Chandler Smith had electrical problem, not like maybe like some kind of problem with his car where it couldn't like power up or just like can't get the throttle down enough to get the car going at top speed that he wanted it to go. So he failed to make the 500 because he had to go into the duels too to make it, but he didn't due to that, and that's really annoying. But he's young; he'll get over it. I know it's a big race, but he's still young, and it shouldn't be his main focus. His main focus is what he's going to be driving full-time Xfinity, or I can't remember. I can't keep track of that kid. In fact, he's only 20 is ridiculous. Married with a baby. So, qualifying, regardless, qualifying I thought was great. And just the usual suspects were up near the front. Alex Bowman made record history by sitting on the front row for 6 straight years. 6 straight years. 6 consecutive times. 3 of those times, he's now won the pole. He won the pole over Kyle Larson by like a tenth and a half or so, but he was blazing fast the first round and the second round. It was just no question. Hendrick showed speed, and people were like questioning, where did Chase go then? It's like because Hendrick swept the first 3 spots in qualifying. But the thing is, people need to understand Hendrick are not always going to be on the same page, like strategy wise when it comes to like qualifying or race, whatever. Chase, to me, is the better super speedway racer at Hendrick. He's the only one, not the only one, but he's the only one with multiple wins on a super speedway track. And he's won at Daytona a few times, just not the 500. He's won in an Xfinity race at Daytona his rookie season of Cup. He beat Joey Logano. I remember that race vividly, and it was a great race. He also... Did he? I don't remember the next 2 times because... I don't know. He did win on like the Daytona road course, so I guess that counts too. I'm not too sure, but he's won on super speedways. He's just that good. He won on Talladega twice. Of course, Daytona, and now that they've called Atlanta super speedway, he's won on that too. So that's technically 3 super speedway races that he has won. So their approach to the 500 is a good, fast handling car, and I feel like they have that. Chase says they can do a little bit better, but he had a fast car during the duels. Of course, the duels bring out like who you can rely on when it comes to pushing, and who you can rely on to just stay there and help you or whatnot. The drivers I feel you need to avoid is Brad Keselowski because he's a very overly aggressive pusher. And from last year, my perspective last year, he pretty much wrecked quite a few people. And it was ridiculous. He's overly aggressive, and he talks so much about how he hates blocking and shit like that, but he's the biggest blocker on the planet. and then goes on and wrecks people from his aggressive pushing. So, and I don't trust Logano because he can wreck pretty much from anywhere and will wreck anybody because that's just, we know how he is. I get he's a great super speedway racer, but he has he's just he's just, I can't trust. You just don't trust any of the Fords. I get like they're good pushers because they have a rounded like nose, like front end. The one I would trust the most is Todd Gilliland because he looked like he had a very strong car who pushed really well. And I feel like he got screwed a little bit being pushed, overly pushed from, it was like a accordion effect from Brad Keselowski through Kyle Larson to Todd where he got super fucking loose and got out of line, but he saved his car. That was a great goddamn save. But I just feel like he got screwed out of a dual win that I did not want to go to Almirola, who I still feel is a waste of fucking space in the 10 car. Yeah, we get the Fords have speed at super speedways. And they kept like saying, oh, the guys who qualify well normally don't have a great car during the race and blah, blah, blah. And vice versa. And I'm like, that's not technically the case. So, Larson, like, unlike Bowman, he kind of dropped back to the back of the pack because he's the pole winner. He doesn't want to wreck his car. He just felt like the car was all too loose for his liking. And he was in qualifying trim, so he was just like, I'm going to back off and ride in the back, save his car. Unlike him, Larson took a different approach and actually raced the race and got very aggressive at some points. And I'm like, he almost lost it. But it looked like he had a solid car. He finished it, so he's staying in the front row. They have practice today and tomorrow. Like hour-long sessions today and tomorrow for the Daytona 500. Duel 1 was very disappointing. Like, there was a lot of heavy hitters in that one. Like, Blaney was in it, Christopher Bell, of course, Joey Logano, who won the duel. Was Cindric in that too? I can't remember. No, it wasn't Cindric. But Cindric was in Duel 2. And Duel 1 just annoyed the crap out of me because that's just how the race on Sunday is gonna go. You'll be doubled up for a good like probably 20-30 laps, and then it'll go single file for the rest of the fucking race until you go 2 pit stops and then get all jumbled up again, or there's a caution, you have a restart, whatever. It'll be like that up until like 2 to 3 laps to go, and then they start racing like competitive just so they can go for the win. Like, to me, that's not racing. That's just being little chicken shits and not wanting to actually race a race. Duel 1 literally is an example of that. Realistic racing was Duel 2, where they were literally, there was more cautions in Duel 2 than there was the entire fucking night. Like, Kyle Busch got fucking turned into the wall by Suarez. That's another driver you need to avoid if you're looking for help of pushing. When it comes to Chevys, do not have Suarez behind you as help. He has a track record of being the worst pusher and just super speedway racer on the goddamn planet. He's wrecked Chase before. I want to say it was Talladega because Chase was going for the win there. It was Daytona or Talladega. One of those two. Chase was going for the win, and Suarez was an idiot and like just basically took him out. So avoid him at all costs. Avoid Brad Keselowski, Logano, especially Cinder, because he's not to be trusted either. He basically almost wrecked his teammate for the win, the Daytona win last year. So those are the only ones that I know of that I would not trust to push or help, for that matter. But overall, Duel 2 was very, very exciting. And people were wondering, like, if Kyle Busch says that his car was a Daytona 500 winning car, then why did he go so hard and didn't just lay back? And I'm like, you realize the duels, if you're in the top 10, you get stage points. You're getting stage points. Whoever wins gets 10 stage points. So right now, whoever's at the top of the standings is Joey Logano and Eric Almirola with 10 fucking points. So from the top down to 10th, they all got stage points. Like Chase, he's finished the duel in 3rd. So he's starting 8th, right next to his buddy Ryan Blaney in the same row, who's starting 7th. So it's perfect. We got Hendrick front row. We got all the Hendrick cars basically in the top 10. Basically, I think. As far as I know. I need to know. Nope. William Byron starting 21st. I did not know that. Okay. The top 10 goes as follows. Of course, Bowman and Larson. And then Logano, Almirola. Then Christopher Bell, Austin Cindric. Then Blaney and Elliott. Then Buescher and Keselowski. So that's pretty much a match made in heaven right there. It was a good mixture of Ford and Chevy. All of Hendrick, well, 3/4 of Hendrick are in the top 10. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 Fords in the top 10. So 1, 2, 3 Chevys and 1 Toyota. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then the rest of the field goes as you can guys look it up. Surprisingly, Corey LaJoie showed up. He is a damn good super speedway racer. If Chase didn't win Atlanta, I wanted Corey LaJoie to win it, but he didn't. But he starting the 500 in 12th. In 12th. That is impressive. Zane Smith made the 500 due to Chandler Smith's weird issues. I'm kind of surprised Hamlin's starting 18th, but that's just what it is. I'm surprised Byron's that far down. Ty Gibbs had a speeding penalty during the duels, but that just comes with no practice before these things, and he's just trying to figure it out as he goes. So he's starting like in the back, near the back of the pack, in 33rd. But we know how Daytona is; he can get up to the front within like a lap or two. And Jimmy Johnson is gonna be basically near the back, with Travis Pastrana, who both made the Daytona 500 on qualifying time. So if it wasn't for the wreck, Kyle Busch would probably have been won that duel and would have been on this like in the second row. So that would have been interesting because him and Logano do not get along. So that's just how I feel it went. But today, they have truck qualifying at 1 o'clock. 1 p.m. my time, basically. I'm in Arizona, so that's like Mountain Standard Time. So noon West Coast time, or whatever you guys want to think of it. And Chase and Pastrana are running in this race, so watch out for those two tonight, as they race tonight at 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. Um, and then there's, I want to say, Xfinity has practice today after truck qualifying. And then the Cup Series, god damn it, Jesus Christ, hello, that's not what I asked for. And they have their first practice session for Cup right after Xfinity practice. Yeah, that's how it went. So Chase has a kind of a long day, a double duty day, from qualifying to practice to the race. So, but he has a kind of like a day off tomorrow, so to speak. Yeah, tomorrow. But they do have one practice session in the morning, early morning. Well, for me, it's early morning, and I'll probably still be at work at that time. So, just so that people can get their cars ready to go, handling wise, speed wise, it'll be good to go. It wasn't impound race, so after qualifying, went straight into the duels. Couldn't work on their cars. They can work on their cars during these practice sessions. So, and now the choose rule is in effect for this race, so that should be interesting. But overall, my gauge for Duel 1, it was just awful. Riding around for the entirety of, and like having that big of a gap between packs and not focus, like jumping from one pack to the other, like camera wise, really threw me off. And just focusing on the top pack. I get it, but you can't just ignore the other cars on track. That's just stupid. And Fox kind of threw everyone off with blurring out the dashboards, which they have never done, which I don't understand why that's a big deal right now. So there's that. Everyone's just throwing off about that, but it's like, it doesn't bother me. It's just weird that they implicated that for some weird reason, because no one gives a crap what's on their dashboard. Like, why did it become such a secret since like the last 75 years of seeing a dashboard, or how long they had a digital dashboard? Anyway, Duel 1, did not like. I give that probably like a 2 out of 10. Skill wise, just my thoughts. That was a shitty, terrible, boring race. Because you don't wait until the last 2 or 3 laps to get something going, to make a race out of it. It's like, oh, now we have something going. You don't, as an announcer or like on a TV, whatever, if I'm on that broadcast, we should be like, oh, we finally have some racing, get some action going on. Like, no, there should have been action from the green flag to check, like, it didn't have to be like double wide the entire goddamn time. Like, yeah, single fire here for a few laps and then double file back it up and like try to do something. Duel 2 was completely different. They were double wide pretty much the entire time. Like, they went single file for a little bit and up until Suarez wrecked Kyle Busch. So, but someone's like side window came flying off. I think it was Haley, Justin Haley. It popped off, so they were caution on that. And then double, like, it was a more realistic way I see the race how it should go, like how people want to see a race. I'm not saying the Daytona 500 has to be double file the entire fucking time. Like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're just doing it the entire like race single file with nothing going on, then what's the point of having this race up until like the last few laps or whatever, or the cautions that we get? Like, so duel number 2, realistically to me, was the much better race of the night. I give that probably like a 7 out of 10. Like, it wasn't perfect because we still need the. Ugh, I don't know. There was something about it that didn't sit right with me. But overall, it was a really, really good race. Um, but I give Todd Gilliland's save a 10 out of 10. So, good job there, buddy. He's just showing the NASCAR world and F, Front Row Motorsports, fuck you for not keeping me full time. So, but it is what it is. Oh, and sponsor announcement, since people are losing their freaking minds over it. And apparently Hendrick Motorsports fans or Chase fans in general who don't know history of this sponsor with this team, Coke has partnered up and is now a secondary, like, minority sponsor, not minority, but like secondary sponsor to Chase Elliott, my driver of the number 9 car. We all know the record of him having Mountain Dew on the car, and Hendrick had a stranglehold with Pepsi for the longest time. And Pepsi did not renew their contract with HMS, so they pulled out of the sport completely after the 2020 season, which was Chase's obvious championship season. So, and then A-Shock came into the picture for 2 seasons, and they somehow just left, and I don't understand why. I love that drink. It's awesome. I still have some in my fridge with Chase's championship picture on it. I know. Don't judge me. But people don't realize, oh, what happened to Pepsi? And they're like people are like living under a rock. They don't understand or hear news that Pepsi left the sport and HMS a few years ago. And Coke is not a new sponsor to Hendrick Motorsports. I want to say between the years of 1994 and 96, or in the early 90s, I want to say mid 90s, Coke was sponsoring Hendrick Motorsport, mainly Jeff Gordon at that time. So people are acting like Coke is a new sponsor for Hendrick Motorsports, and people were like, oh, they're so woke and they're so this and that and blah blah blah. I'm like, realize I have a cardboard cutout of Austin Dillon, who's part of the Coca-Cola family too, and they're like, maybe they should say Chase should be less white because that's what they go for. I'm like, you guys dumb, or you just like bringing politics into everything? Regardless of their politics, I enjoy Coke products. I really do. Pretty sure Monster is a Coke product, and I enjoy Monster. So, I like Coke Zero, like, just basically Coke in general, Coca-Cola, I firmly enjoy. And this sponsorship and partnership is, like, I feel like a perfect fucking match. Because Chase looks good in red. And his dad drove a red car. So, it's just a match made in heaven. And his dad literally was sponsored with Coca-Cola. So, he was part of the Coca-Cola family back in the day. Late 80s and around that time frame. So people need to learn a little bit of their history on these sponsors. Coke is not new to Hendrick. Yes, it's a little weird that I saw like tweets from Logano welcoming Chase into the Coke family, and Daniel Suarez and, Denny Hamlin. It was just very off-putting for me, because I can't stand any of those drivers, minus Austin Dillon, because I love Austin Dillon. So I'm pretty stoked that he has Coke partnered up. I just knew it was coming at some point. They had to replace the drink sponsor aspect from Mountain Dew or Pepsi leaving, and A-Shock, because I love A-Shock so much. They have good drinks. I also like Coke too, so I'm at a dilemma here. But either way, it's gonna be a very interesting weekend, season kickoff. It has been so far. Um, what was I gonna say? God, you were blank. uh, I just drew a goddamn blank. But that is pretty much it. I haven't uploaded a video in a very long time because I got a lot going on. Um, I'm trying to work on my finding a new job. I have applied to a different place. I know, shocking, because I've been with my current company or workplace for over 3 years now, and I'm just ready to move on from it for personal reasons. Um, like, there's nothing wrong with where I work. I need more steadiness in my life, and I'm not, and living paycheck to paycheck and kind of struggling a little bit does not help whatsoever. I know there's a lot of us out there that are in that same situation, same boat. Um, but because I do live by myself and I need to be able to support myself. Because I have my truck payment, I have like insurance, I have my living expensive and everything. So this new opportunity, I have an in-person interview on site um, on Tuesday at noon, and I get to have a tour of the warehouse and just see what goes on and what kind of roles they play out over there, and because it'll be a little different than what I'm doing now, but fairly the same. So I'm a little excited, but a little nervous at the same time because my current job is where I've been the longest out of any job I've had. I've been here for over 3 years, as I said, because I've enjoyed my job. I've met so many incredible fucking people that I've grown close with and relationship with, like friendship wise. Like I feel like he's my best friend. I don't know if he thinks the same way, but he's one of my best friends at work that works within the same vicinity. We don't work the same sort anymore, but I can always like rely on him if whenever I need something. So, and manager wise, there's like a couple of them that, or a few of them that I am really have close ties with. And I made a few friends there, and just professional wise, like I've enjoyed my job. It's just time for me to like kind of just branch out. If I can get this next new opportunity, just branch out and see what else is in store for me. Because I just can't stay in one place just based on the people. Like, if that was the case, I would be here forever. But I'm going to do what's best for me and my well-being. My mental health, basically, is, like, in shambles. So, and then family-wise, there's a lot of stuff going on there. And I'm not going to get into that because that's, again, personal, private shit. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's just a lot going on. So, doing this, and I've been making a shitload of TikToks on my one of my accounts, and apparently it's blowing up right now. Like, some videos more than others are like having like so much going on, but if you want to follow me, that's great. Like some videos, whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just keeping myself distracted as much as possible, trying to stay busy as much as possible. And yeah, I'm going to see how this next week plays out because it's going to be wild. I just feel it. I need to work on my diet. because I just feel disgusting. I've been feeling like I'm an emotional eater. Like I'm super emotional eater. I'll eat with just to eat. I won't be hungry. I just eat. Um, so lately it's just been a shit show when it comes to my diet. So I'm gonna be working on that. Like physically, it's like I'm good. It's just I just feel lethargic a lot of the fucking time. I come home and I just go to sleep. Um, no, I'll sleep all day if I wanted to. So, um, so what time is it? Oh, we're gonna get ready for some qualifying action. Oh, did we all hear about Frankie Muniz running in the ARCA series? Apparently, he qualified 16th for the race tomorrow. That's my guess. I don't. So, we'll see. Um, Other than that, I'm pretty excited for this weekend to kick off. Give me a little distraction and quiet the noise going on in my brain here. I hope everyone's doing fantastic and not going after each other's throats, like some of you are coming after me with for whatever reason. So, let's just enjoy the racing we're so grateful to have with the drivers we have. No matter who you root for, let's just have a good season without so much drama. God, I hate it so much, but it's part of the deal. But so far, what I've been seeing has been pretty good racing wise. Not a big fan of Daytona, but I love the 500. We'll always love the 500. So, but I'm ready to get into like the regular track to see where everyone is gauged at with the new teams and new drivers in these teams. Like, just to see where everyone's at. Like, see how Noah's going to do this year, how Ty's going to do this year. There's going to be a lot of growth between those two as rookies. So we'll just see how that goes. It could be a shit storm, but it could be an amazing battle. We don't know. We'll have to find out come the last Fontana race that's coming up. I'm so upset they're taking it down to make a stupid short track out of it. But I'm ready to be back at the racetrack if I can go. We'll see. But let's have a great season, guys. Let's get this weekend started with truck racing tonight. Got truck qualifying up in like a few minutes. Next like 8 minutes. So, let's see. It looks like Chase will qualify 30th. Well, like roll out 30th in qualifying, and then Haley Dean will be right after that, and then Stain Smith and whatever. So we'll see. We will see. So let's have a good one, guys. Please be nice to each other.